Air Radio On Air Online, Lake 96.1, Saturday at the 70s. We're talking about the group The Underground Sunshine, a group from around the Madison area, during our Homemade Hitmakers Month on Saturday at the 70s during March. And we're talking with Jonathan W. Little about Underground Sunshine. He was the manager of the band and also a Madison radio legend. When we last left off with Jonathan Little, we were talking about Underground Sunshine's single Birthday and how it grew from a regional single to a national single with a major label deal with Intrepid Records. So here you are, you've got the national contract now. They're ready to release it on a national basis. Basically, it did end up exploding because I don't know if they still had a silver dollar survey at WLS in Chicago, but you got up to number 2 on that, and you ended up making an appearance on American Bandstand. That had to be something.
Yeah, in all these cases, I had a network that had developed in the short time that I had been in the business, and so did Charlie Fash, who was the president of Intrepid. He had worked in Chicago. In fact, Charlie Fash was friends with Art Roberts, who was the music director at WLS. So when Charlie Fash and I sat down to do the contract, we began talking about promotion. What stations could he get? What stations could I get? And between the two of us, we had lots of radio stations on birthday, you know. So I called people I knew and said, you need a birthday record on your radio station. People will love it. And they did. It went to 26 nationally. And I think between album sales and single sales, it did something around, something north of 500,000.
Did you ever hear from any of the Beatles in regards to the Underground Sunshine version of Birthday?
No. I'm sure they just smiled when they got the royalty check.
Mm-hmm.
Because Lennon and McCartney had written it, and the procedure then, as it always has been, is you get what's called mechanical license. You write to their publishing company and say, we're planning to release this song. Please grant mechanical license. They can't deny it.
Mm-hmm.
So they got a piece of the action every time that record played on the radio, and every time we sold a copy. You mentioned that they were on American Bandstand. I had called my friend who had been a disc jockey at WISM, Sam Francisco, at that time, I think, was living in Southern California, and told him about the success we were having, and he said, call my friend. I have a friend who's a producer of the Dick Clark American Bandstand show, and tell him how well the song is doing, and they'd like to have bands on early on before the song is peaked.
Right.
So I called up, and I think it was on a Monday, and they said, could you be here Saturday? How quick we put it together. The interesting thing that happened, at least for me interesting, because I had always been a fan of Dick Clark when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I'd run home in the afternoon to watch American Bandstand.
Sure.
And we were just about ready to record this segment with Underground Sunshine when one of the tape players broke down.
Oh, boy.
Dick said, after being frustrated and talking to the producer and some other people, he said, okay, we're going to take a break for 15 minutes. They're going to work on it and get it fixed. And then we'll resume. And he came over and sat down next to me and said, you work in radio. So Dick Clark and I had a chance to sit down and have a little 15-minute chat, which was a highlight for me.
And that really had to be an incredible experience, knowing that here you had a chance to meet one of the greats in the music business, Dick Clark, have the band you're managing on the preeminent music television show, and all this was happening for you guys. It really had to be a head rush for everybody involved.
Well, it really was, and the term beginner's luck was certainly appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were not great singer-songwriters in this band. It was the right song at the right time, and radio embraced it.
So Birthday ended up going top 30. From there, now that you had a big hit record, the next two things you have to be concerned with is an album, because the label was asking for it, and a follow-up. So what do you do from there? The
procedure that was followed by record companies pursuing me and trying to get a record deal was called buying a master. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the master recording of Underground Sunshine was owned by me.
Right.
And Underground Sunshine, too. So they bought the master, and because back in those days, people oftentimes would say, instead of just buying a single, I want to buy the whole album so I've got more music by this band that I like.
Mm-hmm.
So the word from Mercury Records was, get in the studio as quick as you can and knock out an album. And our response was, we've only got a couple original songs. It doesn't matter. Do a bunch of covers. Just start rehearsing, and we want to see you in the studio sometime in the next month. So a month later, they were in the studio. fact, they were in a pretty famous studio that was called the Terramar Studios. It was really where all the Chess R&B artists had recorded.
Really? Okay.
So, Albert King and Muddy Waters and Chuck Berry had recorded many, many things there.
So you came away with the album, and along with that, taking from the album the next single. It was a case where you had some success with it.
Yeah.